Hey guys, we're back, and after our little primers, would you call King Kong a primer? Do you think that was an overkill?
That wasn't a primer. That was a whole like lecture course.
Yeah, but now that we're done with those, we're moving on to the actual Monsterverse. Godzilla, Kong Skull Island, and Godzilla King of the Monsters. What are you expecting from these now that you've seen an example of a Toei Godzilla film and at least one rendition of the original Kong?
Hmm. I'm keeping an open mind, honestly. It's just like you could go more corny, you could go more serious, you could mix the two tones. I'm kind of interested to see.
Alright, I should warn you though, the first Godzilla movie, there's not that much monster action. It's more human. And let me just put it this way, critics love this one, audiences were mixed. Next on the Godzilla King of the Monsters, got the critics trashed it, but the audiences loved it.
Oh,
That
then-
should tell you what to expect.
Yeah.
So we'll see you guys on the other side.
He knew the world would not be the same. Few people laughed. Few people cried. Most people were silent. I remembered the line from the Hindu scripture, the Bhagavad Gita. Vishnu takes on his multi-armed form and says, "Now I am become death, the destroyer of worlds."
Hey guys, we just got done with Godzilla, and you go ahead.
It was pretty good.
It wasn't the greatest, but for starting a new cinematic universe, for giving us a proper American Godzilla, I can't think of anything better. Can you?
Yeah, it's just like obviously we started in Japan with like the family sort of like working like internationally, and then eventually comes back around to America, and that's where the final showdown kind of happens.
Yep. There's some things to gripe about. The constant teases of monster fights.
That then just get cut off before they get good. Like, come on.
Exactly. And Brayn Cranston being wasted the way he was.
Yep, it's just like he was mostly just there to set up backstory.
And he doesn't even see Big G at all.
Yeah.
I mean, it's so good. Oh, sorry. Thank you. But yeah, he's so good. And unfortunately, Aaron Tyler Johnson's character as Ford, the soldier, is kind of. You feel like, again, he's a good character. And I like the stuff with him and Elizabeth Olsen, ironically enough. You know, they play husband and wife. They play brother and sister as Quicksilver and Wanda and Scarlet Witch. So that's always funny, isn't it? But what did you think about the human story? Do you think it was a bit not needed, or do you think it was a good human story?
I wouldn't say it was bad. There was just a little bit too much of it.
Yeah, but the monsters, what we saw, was a very endearing fight, wasn't it? And handling, like the Mutos. Those Mutos were pretty, oh damn, right?
Yeah.
Yep, and just have it be that they're a male and female, you're like, oh shit.
You immediately know what the stakes are as soon as you find that out.
Yep, and then Godzilla being more of a ancient guardian, an apex predator.
Yeah, we kind of got a bunch of like Gamera vibes.
Yep, Gamera, whichever.
Yeah.
Especially guarding up the universe.
Yeah, it's just like a lot of that felt like out of that. Like, oh, you got the gas waking up, and then you've got Gamera.
Definitely. But and right down to him, not really be defending humanity, defending the planet, but he just happens to protect humanity.
Yeah, it's just like, this is Godzilla's turf, and you should get off my turf.
Exactly. But again, overall, this is what you needed for this. I mean, obviously, Toho only gave them the rights to Godzilla, so they had to come with their own monsters. And coming from a more grounded level without going full on Cloverfield was a smart way to go. Like I say, the opening with Cranston's character, his wife, Ellie, getting killed. Not Ellie, whatever the wife's name was. I think actually Sandra. Was heartbreaking, wasn't it? He sent her down there, and then everything goes to hell, and then he has to be the one to close the door, and then sees her, saying goodbye, because, yeah, there's nothing he can do. Cranston sells it, didn't he?
Yeah.
And this was in, like, the first couple of minutes. You're already starting to feel, you're already like, oh.
Come on.
Yeah. And, again, throughout all of this, the story is, it's bare bones. Let's be honest. It's very bare bones. But, again, and the monster battles, we wish there was more. So, again, it's not perfect. In fact, technically, it should be downright terrible when you think about it. But the way they execute it is so well done, so well acted, so well written. I mean, anything else you want to add to that?
Not really. There's not a whole lot to really say about it.
Aside from being too dark.
Yeah.
Definitely way too dark. I mean, and now, granted, from what I understand, that's part of the transfer on the Blu-ray. When it went to 4K, they finally got it better, but it wasn't too bad here. Would you say?
Yeah.
But overall, also like I say, the kid they have playing the son, Ford's son. I've seen worse, but he at least was good. He didn't say much, probably a good thing. But what we do see of him visually, I liked. Would you agree with that at least?
Yeah, he didn't overstay his welcome.
Exactly. And Ken Watanabe as Mr. Shirazawa, I thought he did a good job.
Yeah.
I wish there was a bit more with him, but I do love the whole, let them fight and all that. So yeah, for starting up the Monsterverse, I can't think of a better way they could have started it. And, oh yeah, so next time we're going to be going to Kong Skull Island. We'll see you guys there. Hey guys, we're adding this little addendum to Godzilla 2014 because this is when we recorded, this was months before we even considered doing our Godzilla marathon. So we're adding our thoughts now that we've seen a lot of it, now that Ingrid is more of an actual Godzilla nut.
Oh yes, yes.
Beforehand, you were just a Gamera nut. Now you're a Godzilla nut, aren't you?
I suppose that's becoming more and more of just a general kaiju nut as time goes on.
That too. So, looking back over 2014, now that you've seen Showa, Heisei, and Millennium, and Shin Godzilla, where do you stand on this?
It's not bad by any stretch of the imagination, but next to the rest of them, it's just kind of bland. This is like the standard Godzilla flavor, like vanilla ice cream. It's not bad. You can mix it with anything, but it's just not too terribly interesting.
This is why I prefer vanilla.
It's more direct, here, which would be Shin Godzilla, which released roughly the same time. Yeah, they're very similar in that they're more focused around the human plot than they are around the monster plot. But I think Shin Godzilla is slightly higher on account of the fact that it's looking more deeply into Japanese culture, whereas, I don't know, it just felt a little bit more bland in comparison, where it's just yeah, I kind of got lost in the politics of Shin Godzilla sometime, but I feel it being more grounded and real gave it more of a better flavor than it just being bland.
Yeah, I will say this though, I still stand by my belief that if Brayn Cranston stuck around, I think it would have gone way up. Because let's be honest, when he was around, you felt invested.
Oh yeah, if they had managed to keep him through the whole movie, say, it crippled him but not killed him.
And he would have stayed with Shirazawa while his son was out there, and he didn't get worried about his son and everything.
that would have been fine, and he could have stuck. Man, he didn't even have to stick around beyond this movie.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Because let's be honest, Cranston is pretty expensive these days, so yeah, you wouldn't have to keep him around for this movie, but at the very least, just keep him around throughout to the end of this point, because Aaron and Tyler Johnson, obviously his name, wasn't bad. I don't think he's as bad as people let on, but he was bland.
Yeah, and it's just like, it's just not very
generic soldier guy
in comparison to the other ones. It's just like, there are definitely some Godzilla movies that stick out, and then there are just some that kind of just blend together in the general mess of Godzilla movies in my head that were just kind of okay.
Definitely. And now Godzilla himself and everything with him and the Mutos, top tier stuff. Except for the teases.
You don't get enough of it.
Especially the teases. You know, how many times we're like, yes, what the fuck?
Uh-huh.
You know what I mean? Especially that big one, remember? Where, Elizabeth Olsen's character, you know, they're being shunned into something, and the doors close, you see the Mutos swooping at Godzilla, and then darkness. We're like, what the fuck? Why do we keep skipping these? I mean, I get it. It's to build it up, but I hate when you can only pull the rug out before people get annoyed, and I know a lot of people got annoyed.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, going back, you know, this now watching this in retrospective hurt the movie a little bit more. Not a lot. It's not like we hate it now, but
yeah, there's just so many other things that do it better by comparison.
Exactly. So we'll see you guys on the next one as we go over Kong Skull Island. So that one we're not going to have an addendum for. That one, moving on.
Pretty much stands on its own.
Okay, see you guys.